Breaking news today: in spite of Easter appeals for calm, Russia has kept up its shelling of Ukraine. At least 7 civilians were killed over the weekend by Russian forces shelling, according to Ukrainian officials, and both Pope Francis and Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby used their Easter messages to call attention to the conflict in Ukraine and other war zones around the world. The Ukrainian military reported that the provinces of Kharkiv in the northeast and Zaporizhzhia in the southeast were hit by missile, rocket, and artillery fire, while Russia focused on seizing all of Ukraine's industrial east. 2 communities in the Kherson region were bombed by warplanes late on Sunday, according to Governor Alexander Prokudin, though he did not immediately report casualties. On Sunday, Russian-held Kupiansk was shelled by Ukrainian forces, resulting in the deaths of 2 men, according to Oleh Syniehubov, governor of Kharkiv. Syniehubov reported that Russian forces continued their assault on the city late Sunday, aiming multiple rocket launchers at residential areas. He also reported on Telegram that a 30-year-old man was hospitalized in critical condition as a result of Russian shelling in the city of Chuhov, located elsewhere in the province. Zaporizhzhia, the capital of that province, was also shelled overnight, killing 2 people, including a child born in 2012, according to the secretary of the city council, Anatoly Kurtov. Governor Yuriy Malashko of Zaporizhzhia said 18 settlements were hit by shelling. According to Malashko, 3 people were killed and 5 others were injured on Saturday. Zaporizhzhia is one of 4 Ukrainian provinces that Russian President Vladimir Putin illegally annexed in September, and it is also home to Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Since then, Russian forces have worked to drive Ukrainian forces out of the Donbas region's industrial Luhansk and Donetsk provinces. The longest battle of the 13-month conflict took place in Bakhmut, a city in Donetsk. Experts from the West have speculated that Russian forces have entered the city proper in recent times. After more than 8 months of fighting, capturing Bakhmut would give the Kremlin a much-needed victory and open the door for an assault on major Ukrainian-held cities. Colonel Serhiy Cherevity, spokesman for Ukraine's Eastern Group of Forces, said on Sunday that the Russian army is relocating elite units to the town of Bakhmut. According to Cherevity, regular army units, such as paratroopers and motorized riflemen, had to be moved in because the Wagner Group, a private Russian military company whose fighters have led the offensive on Bakhmut, was suffering heavy losses. Orthodox Christians, who will be celebrating Easter on April 16 this year, make up the vast majority of religiously affiliated Ukrainians. This past weekend was both Palm Sunday and Easter for some Christians. Pope Francis prayed for peace in Ukraine and for God's light to shine on the people of Russia during his Easter address, which he gave from the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. Christians celebrate Easter because they believe it is proof that Jesus rose from the dead after being crucified. Welby, who as Archbishop of Canterbury serves as the ceremonial head of the Worldwide Anglican Communion, used the event to express his belief that true peace is no aimless daydream, but a reality offered because Christ was raised from the dead. According to the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Russian forces attacked various parts of Ukraine with 40 airstrikes, 4 missile strikes, and 58 attacks using multiple rocket launchers between Saturday and Sunday mornings. The General Staff claims that Russia targeted the cities of Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka in the province of Donetsk. Pavlo Kirilenko, governor of the Donetsk region, said 2 civilians were injured the day before. In November, Ukrainian forces pushed the Russians back partially, and officials in the province of Kherson say the southern region has also been under constant attack. There were no reported deaths. A Washington think tank, the Institute for the Study of War, predicted late Saturday that Russia's overall offensive is approaching culmination. Recent Russian attacks appeared designed to distract and disperse Ukrainian troops preparing for a potential counteroffensive, according to Ivan Tymachko, head of the Ukrainian Council of Reservists for the country's ground forces, who was quoted by the institute. The think tank reported that Tymachko had said Russian forces were making no serious advances along the front. According to the institute, Russia's reported ammunition shortages will undermine the Russian military's ability to continue offsetting its other weaknesses and limitations. The institute notes that Russia has relied heavily on artillery to offset key shortcomings in combat capability.